built a few different brands. Actually, I'm just going to share how I started building my son's brand. So, hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ali, your favorite business coach. And I love to support people in taking their expertise, taking their gifts, their talents, their experiences, everything that makes you uniquely and amazingly you, and creating a legacy type of business just by authentically being yourself, but learning the tools and tips and strategies of how you can do it without losing your mind. And the reason I'm doing this is because literally, I've been speaking to so many people recently, especially as they're watching Zachary, who's my son who lives on the autism spectrum, as they're watching him grow and develop. And they've pretty much been following his brand since inception, right? Since I started sharing it. I began sharing his journey live and virtually, I think, from the age when he was 6 or 7. And part of that was me understanding how I was going to take who he was uniquely, and then how I was going to use my journey first as a parent, as an expert, as a speech language pathologist and audiologist. I've been working with families on the spectrum, and then just sharing my journey. So I was blessed to have an amazing business coach, who Susie Carter and Doreen Rainey. I was part of a program for the Steve Harvey Business Acceleration Program. And through that is how I really, truly began to learn how you use your life, your story, your experience, your expertise, and you can create a business, and you can even create specifically a personal brand, which is you, right? I'm that educator. Went through the path of education. As you can tell, I'm Dr. Ali, so that means I did a lot of school. But through that space, um, I loved who I was and how I was developing, and learning through the Lisa Nichols campus how to even share the lows, right? How to share the hard moments. And some of the hard moments was acceptance, autism acceptance, and also supporting families through the autism journey. As I was trying to support myself, because I'm supporting others as a professional, but then I'm also coming home and dealing with my own and trying to figure out and navigate that process. In that space, many came to me and they had so many questions on how I was doing it, and what did I need, and what did I need, and then what did I have that I can help them. So being in a position where people were able to help me, just on the fact that they had parented a child with autism, and me being able to help them as a professional with a child on the autism spectrum, it became a space where I used, hi, how are you? Make sure you're following and subscribe. I began to use all the things that made me me, and the journey that I was going through, and to create a personal brand based on that. So when you are thinking of developing a brand around yourself, thank you, Kaden, appreciate you. You want to think about your natural path. You want to think about some of the challenges that you've been through. And I shared it yesterday on my live yesterday, on the YouTube live yesterday, how the questions that people ask you, the answers that you're helping others with, it can be something that you can monetize into a business. So as people began to ask me more about the autism parenting journey, me sharing it as a professional, and then me sharing it through the process of being a parent, I began to then take that and develop that into a personal brand. That's how I wrote the book, Amazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance. Amazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance. Then I began to create a video series from it, and I began to speaking all over the world just on my journey. As Zachary began to get older, last year, well, 3 years ago, during the pandemic, he's always wanted his own book. So he's on the cover of Amazing Gift, but he wanted his own book. But he wasn't at that educational level or the capacity to write his own book. Let me just make sure I almost dropped the phone. To write his own book. So we took a few of his sayings. He always used to like to motivate other people, and he would just say these amazing words. And we created an affirmations book out of him. And this affirmations book is called I Am Amazing. And through that space, it's how to be reliable, responsible, and really useful. This was his favorite thing that he always used to say is, Mom, I want to be reliable, I want to be useful, and I want to make sure I'm responsible. So we used his concepts and we created a coloring book. Like, it didn't have to be hard. Remember, it doesn't always have to be hard, but you want to take something that's authentic. You want to take something that's real. We put together a few phrases. So I asked him, so what makes you feel reliable? And he began to say, I feel reliable when I blank, and when I blank, and when I blank. And then from what he said, we got a graphics artist, and he was able to create the concept, the visual concept And from that, we put together his own coloring book. I am, uh, what is this? I am amazing. No, what is it? I am coloring book. I am coloring book. I'm making sure I'm saying it right. I got so many books in my head. So from that space, about 2 years ago, we went to different activities for Autism Awareness Month, and he's sharing his book, and now he's signing books and he's selling books to many different spaces. And in that space, he's selling. They're asking him questions. So now he goes from writing a book to now being a speaker about his book, about his journey in a simple coloring book, right? So when I share that it's developing your personal brand and developing a personal brand from who you are as a business, you really want to tap into who you are, what makes you genuine. How could you then put together a product or an offer, or you can talk some more about what that looks like, and how do you get out there into the world where you just share the information. Now I have a whole different aspect on communicating your strengths and how to communicate that out to the world and be a speaker. But this video really is about monetizing your expertise and monetizing who you are, and doing that through a personal brand. I'm going to be teaching some more about that. I got a 2-day challenge coming up. By the time you catch this in recording, it will be April 25th and 26th, I believe. If you're catching it on replay, then we should have the link on how you can catch it on replay. But it's going to be simple strategies on just monetizing simple things of who you are, how you want to get yourself out there, how you want to utilize some natural things about you, and do it in a way that makes sense for you, right? You don't want to do it like what everybody else is doing, just for just getting on the bandwagon's sake, but you truly want to apply it to who you are as a person, because Zachary is such a fun filled kid. The person, the cartoon, the comic, not comic book, the coloring book was perfect for who he was, for who he is, and it aligned to who he is as a brand. So it wasn't just creating a chapter book because he was, what, 15 by then, and you would think at that age he would do a chapter book, but it was more his own personality, the things that he said often, how he helped others, what came natural for him, and then utilizing that to then put together his own personal brand, which we are developing now. So I say all that to say, hold me accountable, because we will now be working on his journey to independence. So now he's 18. My amazing gift of journey to acceptance, right, was from when he hit the age about 7 or 8. Through that process, right, because it was 8 years ago. So then he was in 9 or 10. After that process, we're now sharing his journey from junior high school into where now he's entering into a college-based program. So I want to share some of the things that he had to go through, some of the difficulties and challenges that he went through as a teenager, his first summer job, his visiting his school, his projects in a regular high school, and how the challenges that he had to face, his tutoring, the extra help he needed when he felt like he was less than, and how he persevered, how he shows up early for class every single day and goes to school early. So I want to be able to share this with other families with kids with autism, but not only that, also other brands and people who are thinking about doing personal brands, because if he can do one and we can do one for him just based on who he is as his life journey, then you also know that you have the potential and the possibility of how you can do it also for yourself. So let me know if you think that's a great idea. Let me know if it's in alignment with what you think you are. And if you have any specific questions, definitely reach out. Remember, April is Autism Awareness Month. SmartFit Fam is my nonprofit organization. Make sure you're following SmartFit Fam, and also Zachary's on Instagram. So it's SmartFit Fam, and he is Turbo and Friends, or I am Zachary B. It should be Turbo and Friends. I can't remember. I think it's Turbo and Friends. And we are now in the stage of developing his YouTube channel. So through that space, he will have his own personal brand space. He has his website where you can follow. He has his coloring book where you can have access to, and he'll be doing his speaking engagements. Oh my gosh, he'll be going places to speak and sell his books and have tables and just be himself. And I think that's super duper great, right? I think that's amazing. I'm here to support him in any capacity that I can. If I have coached hundreds and thousands of people in their businesses, I could do the same with my own son. And that is the goal for 2025. I wish you all the best. May you go out there and take who you are, profit, purpose it, passionate, prove it. Do all the things you have to do out there to make sure that you are still standing strong and standing as yourself and monetizing your gift. All right, so we will talk soon. Have a blessed and amazing day. I hope you enjoyed our live today, and I will catch you guys hopefully either tomorrow is Friday, right? So you guys should see me tomorrow when I share my last message for the week. Let me know if this resonates with you. Bye.